It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so let's just cut to the chase. Why don't you tell me a little about your background and how that makes you beneficial to our team?
Yeah, for sure. So I've been in the optical field for 3 full years, going on now my 4th year. I started out with Lens Crafters. I've now moved to the company of America's Best. I have done adjustments. I have put orders through. I check glasses. I mark up glasses. I double check with lab orders. I work one-on-one with patients, and I've been doing that since day one, so I'm very comfortable and very confident in myself in that asset, in that way for an asset for this team. Another asset for this team is I'm very passionate about what I do. I have a lot of patience because I really want to show the customer what it is to have lenses, the right lenses for their lifestyle, really get to know them to make sure they're in the correct lens or correct prescription. And I love working one-on-one for them to understand what they're getting and can appreciate the product so they know.
Perfect. Okay, so I know that you love customers, but why don't you tell me about a conflict that you had with a customer?
Yeah, for sure. So it actually wasn't, it didn't start out with me to begin with. It was my assistant manager, his name was Matthew, at Lens Crafters. He started with a patient. He was doing a dispense. A patient was coming in to pick up their glasses they've already purchased. He is going from a single vision that he's had for many years and going to a progressive. So with that being said, we know it's the 3 visions, so it's 1 vision going to 3, so it's a little overwhelming. So I always like to encourage patients to come, when you come in, to expect to sit down and kind of go through some training, per se. This gentleman was really overwhelmed, and when Matthew was trying to explain it to him and let him know, they were both getting really frustrated, and I could tell the situation was escalating. So then I decided to kind of step in, because I just was like, you know what, let's just start over. Let's sit back, just take a moment and breathe, because it's a lot, and I understand that. So I did get him to take the glasses off, and we just sat there for a moment. I explained it to him without the glasses on so that he could see it, and with his glasses, I think that was another overwhelming, because he couldn't see what he was trying to get him to do. So I did have my tablet, and I had many different diagrams, and I showed him what he's seeing, and it made a lot of sense to him. So when he did put the glasses back on, we could sit there for a moment. I could run him through the typical what to expect, the do's and the don'ts. So he definitely needed a little bit slower and more understanding tone rather than, this is what it is, this is what you got, here you go.
Right.
They were just getting kind of frustrated. It was miscommunication for sure. So I stepped in that sense. And he did leave with the glasses, and he enjoyed them thoroughly. He didn't have any kind of complaints. So
good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. And I see that you were able to resolve that situation, but can you tell me about a time that you made a mistake?
Most definitely. In the optical field, as you know, it's very common to break a pair of glasses. It happens to all of us. It's just a matter of time when. So I had a patient. She came in and she brought her own frame, and she got a eye exam with us. So she left her frame with us. We ordered lenses and we made them in store about 2 weeks later once they come in. I was the one dispensing them to her. She was trying them on and just noticed that it was a little loose, so I just was going to bring them in. And the temples, they just snapped completely in half. So I turn around and I let her know, I didn't know this was a brand new frame. I didn't know if it was a used frame. I didn't have much background on it. So when I told her, I said, by the way, this is what's happened. I have your frame. It broke. Your lenses are fine, because I know you just purchased those. So when I say her frame broke, I really didn't get time to explain. She escalated really quickly, started to yell and started to cuss. I did have my general manager come over and was trying to figure out what the situation was. when I realized that this is not a frame we carry, and she just purchased the frame, I told her, you know what, let me see your receipt. She gave me the receipt. She had a 30-day guarantee on her frame. So I was able to call the company that she got the glasses from. They worked very well with me. I kept in contact with the patient, which was one of the biggest keynotes and takeaways that I took from this mistake, because if you let the patient know you care, they feel calm about the situation. So I sent the broken frame, they sent me a new one, we put the lenses in it, and she left with them, and she was beyond perfectly happy. So it worked out very well.
Well, that's great. I'm glad that you were able to fix the mistake, and that you admitted to the mistake in the first place, because that's a really big thing. Okay, so last question for you. So let's say we finish this interview and you step outside the office and you find a lottery ticket that ends up winning you $10 million. What would you do?
First thing, I'd probably cry a little. And like almost all good daughters would do, you call your mother,
right?
And let her know that everything was worth it in life. That the things you struggled over, the things you were worried about, the hard work we've put into, even though it was a freak accident more or less, it's like, listen, we got this. We still got this. Look at this. So definitely pay off all of our debts would be ideal. And I would finish college and I would build a home. Just kind of get yourself steady and settled in life and figure it out. Just kind of have a head start. But like all good things, it must come to an end. So once the money ran out, that's why I'd probably still finish college and want to pursue my dreams of getting a degree, most definitely.
Perfect. All right, well those are all the questions I have for you today. So we should have an answer in about a week. So I will give you a call and let you know what our decision is then.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Brittany?
Yes.
Lindsay, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Most definitely. All right. Thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So you're in management right now, correct?
Yes.
Most definitely. How long have you been doing that?
I have been in management off and on for about 2.5 years now. Just been promoted within companies
For sure.
a couple times now. So
Awesome.
I did a year at Food City, and then I've done a year and a half at Books Million.
Awesome. That's awesome. So tell me about some of your typical duties in the management position you do now.
Yes, so at Books Million, of course, as a manager on duty, you're leading your team, you're making sure that everyone is meeting their metrics. So we have our cards that we have to sell, and we have our magazines we have to sell, and you're making sure everyone's doing that you're keeping everyone in a good enough spirit, because if they're down, they're not going to sell. Making sure that your reports are coming in nicely, that you're doing all the paperwork properly, that you're doing the deposits correctly. If you're opening, you're taking the deposits to the bank. If you're closing, you're prepping the deposits for the next morning for the opener to take them to the bank.
For sure.
Any IT issues that come up, we're the ones that handle those. Just being the customer service manager, being the face that everyone sees when they have a question or an issue, or even just a happy comment. Making sure everything runs smoothly, money handling, all of that.
So you mentioned that you kind of deal with the conflict. So when you've done some conflict, can you give me an example of maybe how you've handled a conflict with a upset customer?
Yes. So this was one of my first jobs, actually, when I was working at Barter Theater. We had a customer, a patron who came in, and she had ordered some tickets. It was her daughter's birthday, and they were going to be seeing a show that night together, and so she booked her tickets ahead of time because our show's always filled up. So she came in to pick up her tickets on will call, and her tickets weren't there. And so we had to find the tickets. Once we were able to find them, they weren't, it took a while to find in the first place, but once we did finally find them, which was a good 5 or 10 minutes later, they were for the wrong day, the wrong show, the wrong time, and under the wrong name. there was just an error in communication when she was setting up the tickets the first time around. And so we had to find her a place in our show because it was sold out. So obviously she was pretty upset because she had already paid for her tickets. She was supposed to have her seats that day, and she was very irate with me, and the manager was getting ready to step in. But before she got the chance, I was able to say, okay, wait, we found your tickets. We've got you a seat right here. We can switch the tickets to the right day. No cost to you, because she actually paid less than they were really worth because they set it up further on it.
Yeah.
So we put her in a seat that we normally keep reserved for if any employees wanted to see the show that night.
Oh.
But we just canceled those seats because no employees had shown up yet, and the show was starting in 2 minutes. So
Yeah.
we put her in those seats, and they were actually better seats than she had in the first place. And she was extremely happy with them, and she went from yelling at me and terrified that she wasn't going to get to see the show and that she was going to have a refund and not be able to see the show with her daughter on her birthday, to having better seats than she had in the first place for cheaper than she paid.
So yeah, that's definitely,
Yes.
she's probably very happy with that. No,
She was.
It wouldn't be.
Exactly.
Awesome. So how do you see a manager's role within a team?
Yes, so I think it's really important that the manager is, one, leading by example. So you're not just sitting on your phone asking somebody to go do something for you. You are doing things with them. You're not going to make them do the dirty work that you don't want to do. Everybody, you are leading the team, but you're still on the team. So everybody works together. You are just kind of guiding them in the way they need to be working towards. So making sure morale is high, stepping in when you need to, conflict management as needed, but making sure essentially that just everyone is able to do their jobs effectively and everybody's happy doing their jobs, while still understanding that you do still have something you have to be doing. Nobody's looking at it like, oh well, I always get the brunt of this. I always have to do the dishes, or I always have to do this. No, everybody's going to take turns. Everyone's going to do things evenly, and I'm going to be helping you with all of it as well. Just making sure everything's running smoothly and everybody's not just one person's being left out.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So why are you interested in leaving your job, your current job?
Yes, so unfortunately, bookstores, with e-readers and Amazon, bookstores are just a dying business. And so in a management role, I do get to see our numbers. And while I love my company dearly, I genuinely care for Books A Million as a whole. I do see the numbers, and I see that we are going downhill, and I want somewhere that's going to have more growth opportunity and more of a long-term stay. So I don't think I'm going to be able to find that at Books A Million right now, just based on seeing what we're bringing in and how the company is doing as a whole. I want to be able to find somewhere where I can stay longer than I think is available to me right now.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So why do you feel like this company would be a better fit for you?
I mean, like I said, I think there's going to be more growth opportunity here, and I think that I've seen this company for a while now thriving, and I know that this is a place where you can go to stay for a long time. You're not going to come in and be out in 2 weeks, and I'm not expecting to come in and see the place crash and burn in the next 2 years. Given how much you've been thriving recently, I think that we could make a really good long-term commitment here. I think I could come in and be here for longer than at many other companies.
For sure. When it comes to being with this company, do you think that you'd be satisfied as assistant manager, or would you ever like to own a store?
I've always wanted to work up to a full store manager, possibly even a district manager. I've always had that growth in mind. Ever since I was a kid, and my mom said, "Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?" I wanted to be a cashier, and then I wanted to be a manager, and then I wanted to be a bigger manager.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
So I've always seen myself going bigger and better constantly. There's always room for growth. I think there's always room to learn.
Yeah, so you feel like you can definitely train people to be, like, if you did make it to a store manager, do you feel like you could have that confidence and skill set to train assistant managers?
Absolutely. I've already been training. I've trained everybody under me from the day I started, at least at Books A Million.
Yeah.
From the first month in, the reason they promoted me was because we had some new hires and I was very excited to train them. I had only been there for a month.
Wow.
So I've always loved training in general, and once I know the ins and outs of this specific company, I think I would love to train other people, especially in the roles that I started out in. Because I will have understood what it's like to come in as an assistant manager and not know exactly what's happening in this store. So, learning how to work around not knowing.
Yeah, for sure.
I think I would be able to train an assistant manager into the position I would have now.
Awesome. Yeah, no, definitely. So, this was great. I really appreciate your time and you coming in today. I will be more than happy to give you a call by next week to kind of give you an update about where we're at. So I'll probably talk with my assistant manager now, and we'll kind of go over it and we'll give you a call back soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too.
Thanks.